in terms of my vision as a young leader, it is to see young people in positions of power and young people making decisions. India is a very young country. More than 50% of our population, for example, is under the age of 30. Hi everyone, I am Sankalp Suman. I am currently the Deputy Head of Sustainability and Climate Strategy Department at the Indian Sugar and Bioenergy Manufacturers Association, which is one of the oldest industry associations in India. It's almost 93 years old now. And even though I've been born in Bihar, and most of my family is, they're farmers in Bihar, but my parents migrated to Delhi, so I've grown up, and I currently also live in New Delhi, India. Um, I have worked in the climate space for a very long time. As a child, I was, involved in a lot of activism, debates, model UNs, campaigns, all of these kinds of things, because I'd also grown up facing the impacts of climate change, or seeing the farmer suicides in my community and elsewhere in India, and really seeing a large deficit in understanding why this is happening, or that this is happening because of climate change. So all of that angst and confusion of me as a child was, got translated into these social activities. And then when I decided to pursue my professional education, that was also in environment, as an environmental engineer from Delhi Technological University, called Delhi College of Engineering before, and it's one of the it is the pioneering institute in the country to start environmental engineering at an undergrad level. And I was very happy of the time that I spent there. I learned a lot. I also opened my own startup during that time called OffsetGo, which was a carbon trading, carbon project development platform. And we worked with several regional governments in India, as well as a couple of departments of the central government, to create impact. And after years, I mean, it was a very impact oriented startup. We had very limited resources, we had very limited experience on our hands. We were all in college, most of us at least. And however, we did reap some very good benefits out of our hard work, I would call it. A number of the states that we worked with increased unprecedentedly their budgets for climate action the next year. So we educated a lot of stakeholders, we educated chief ministers, we told them, not only this is how climate action will benefit you, but this is how you should do it. What is the way to do it? What is the organized way to do it and keep doing it sustainably? And these were very important experiences for me also, and I carry them with me in my current role, where also, again, for the first time in 93 years, ISMA is working on sustainability and climate strategy in an institutional capacity, and I'm heading it for them. And this industry employs 55 million sugarcane farmers, as well as millions of farm laborers and agricultural laborers, and then is also a primary producer of bioenergy for India. Almost 80% of the biofuel that is produced in India comes out of the sugar mills. So it's a very complicated, complex, involving multiple stakeholders and multiple dimensions of climate action kind of a job. And the startup journey really equipped me to be able to handle it as well, or as okay as I am doing currently. So I've also been recognized in a few very prestigious places. I received the National Youth Icon for Environment Award at the Indian Parliament, in the presence of Honorable Environment Minister and the Honorable Speaker of Lok Sabha, which is a very prestigious memory for me also. And just having to being able to interact with these decision makers, share them my story, as well as listen and learn from them, was very important, and has been very important in my journey. I was also India's youth delegate to COP28, as selected by the UAE COP28 presidency, as part of their International Youth Climate Delegate program, where they selected 100 different kids from 100 different, not kids, youth climate leaders from 100 different countries, and invited them to participate and negotiate on behalf of young climate voices at COP and the regional climate weeks, as well as the conference of youth, and it was a momentous experience for me. It really broadened my own horizons as well as understanding of climate change. I'd only looked at it very domestically before, and it was a good, if not 180, then at least a 90-degree shift in how I approached climate change before and after COP28. So that was also very prestigious for me. Apart from this, I frequently am invited by different universities, different platforms to come speak on climate change. I've been awarded by the Institution of Engineers India for the work I've done on climate change, as well as a number of other institutions. What makes me a youth climate leader is, I'm not entirely comfortable with the term also, but I think it's just the kind of space that is available. If you're seeing and saying the truth, then you would automatically be elevated, not by yourself, by others, to this level of existence, that you're leading the youth in a particular direction. I have my own flaws, and I'm very public in acknowledging them. I don't think I'm doing as much as I can for climate change, but I think it's still by being honest and by talking about the people who are on ground and suffering, and being able to articulate and present their problems, and not just that, being bold enough to say all of it, but also be creative enough to also come up with solutions, is what I think would make me or make anyone a youth climate leader. In terms of the skills that are relevant, is number one, your academics. You cannot, climate change is a scientific problem, of course, to begin with. There are numbers involved, there are policies, very dense and complicated policies involved. So to be able to operate in this space, you need to be able to understand all of this, even predict a lot of it. And it's a lot, because different things are happening even within my own country at state and central levels, and then your horizons, if they become the world, then it gets even exponentially more complicated. So you do have to be able to understand the science and the academia behind climate change, but that is just step one. Step two is also being able to speak, articulate, and connect the dots. Today in my community, everyone knows that the environment is a disaster, but no one knows that the neighbor that committed, the farmer who committed suicide in our neighborhood, did it because of climate change. So those dots are still not connected in most parts of the world, like India at least. And that is your second most important skill, that you're able to connect these dots in local languages and present them, whether it is to those communities or to the policymakers, make a sound, logical, as well as an emotive. This is a very emotive issue also. It's an anthropological movement also. So to understand these two very diverging aspects of climate action and sort of converge them through your own institution is a very important skill you should have as a climate leader. But most importantly, it will always be your ability to see the truth and your ability to speak the truth, no matter who you are speaking to. These are very important aspects of this journey that I have at least found in my own experience. There are a lot of challenges, of course. I walk into a room, most of the people, even today in my current position, are more than twice my age, and there is a bias that you have to sort of, it's already there. It accompanies you into every room you walk into. It's standing right next to you, where people think it's a kid being enthusiastic, blah blah blah. What do the kids know about how real work is done, or how policies are made, or what kind of experience they have. So all of these biases are there with you everywhere you go. You cannot do anything about it. At least I have not figured out a way to do anything about it, except for the fact to tell myself that one, what is happening is unprecedented. So I don't think experience has a very big role to play here. Obviously it's important, but it's not the only thing that matters. And second, if the older generations knew how to deal with or how to solve climate change, it would have been solved. We are the generation that is growing up being sensitized to climate change, who thinks of economy in a circular way, not in a linear way, who thinks about supply chain and ESG and all of these things. They are very recent in our education and in our corporate and policy strategies. So we are far more equipped, and in terms of technology also we are the generation that grew up with the internet, so we are far more equipped to deal with these problems than anyone with gray hair is. That is my opinion, that is what I very firmly believe in, and that is what I tell anyone who tries to sideline me. And eventually when you say it to one person in front of 10 people, the other 9 also kind of shut up. So you have to be confident and you have to be honest, and all of the rest of it will just come automatically. In terms of my vision as a young leader, it is to see young people in positions of power and young people making decisions. India is a very young country. More than 50% of our population, for example, is under the age of 30. But our political leadership, our business leadership, it's usually exclusively twice of 30 at least. It's way more in most cases. And always all of these gray haired people come and tell different youth programs that, oh, you're the leaders of tomorrow, this and that. And I don't think, number one, there's any tomorrow going to be left if these men are allowed to run the world the way they are. And number two, it's what tomorrow? We are a young country right now. We are the leaders of today. We are in the majority, not you. So this is my vision, to see young people who are more equipped and more sensitized, and I think a better generation. Also, I mean, we have our flaws. Who doesn't? But in terms of the way we've grown up, being sensitized, having the kind of access to information that we have. Earlier, people used to go to libraries to search for information. We can do it on a Google. So we are way more equipped, and we have our priorities are way better than the older generations. And I would really like to see more and more young people being in charge of the world that the young people are predominantly living in. My advice for anyone in this is, one, to educate yourself. There's no better safeguard that you can create for your own career trajectory or your own, personal activism or ambition trajectory. Education is very important. You need to understand and accommodate different kinds of opinions and see for yourself which one is right and which one is wrong, because all of the things you will do once you do become a leader are going to be unprecedented. They will be groundbreaking. So you need to be able to have the capacity within yourself to sort of judge and execute these ideas you have. And second is, as I've said now, I think I'm saying for the 4th time in this video, just be honest. Honesty is the best policy, is what Mahatma Gandhi had said. But and it really is the best policy. If you are an honest person, it's very bad for your own mental health. It gives you a lot of anxiety when you see the world as honestly as it is, and when you try to navigate through it by being an honest person. Also, it's a really hard thing to do. But the payoff so far in my 23 years of experience is also much more than what the other options would have. So just these two things: educate yourself and be honest with yourself and everyone else. Thank you.